What's up guys, Catastrophe here, and for this week I'm going to be talking about the movie that I have just seen recently known as Alice Through the Looking Glass. Today I'm going to be doing another review, and warning, there will be spoilers, so let's just jump right in. To talk about the movie Alice Through the Looking Glass, it was actually a really good movie for a sequel, and there's not really like a whole bunch to talk about, but I will say that it wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it. To talk about the story is basically Alice wants to help the Hatter by talking to time, and time is a person, is a personification of time. And she goes back in time, she tries to change things in the past to impact the future, but it has morals to it that you cannot change the past, and that time must go on, and that, you know, some may say that time is a thief, some say that time isn't good, but time only wants what is best for other people and tries to move forward rather than change things in the past. So I think that's a really good moral story to it, because it kind of connects with me on an emotional level, because Alice, she's kind of held up by emotions of her father who passed away a long time ago, and the point of how eventually you have to let go of things that they used to have, or things you used to do together. You have to try to sort of move on and move past that, which she eventually does in the film. Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter, which is one of the bases of the story. Johnny Depp, or the Mad Hatter, he feels like his family is still alive, and people that have seen the first movie know that his family passed away due to an attack on their village, but turns out they are not really gone. They, like, okay, there are so many spoilers in this movie. I gotta put a disclaimer right here. Oh man. But I will say that the villain in this movie, I didn't expect to be the villain. Like, I knew that, like, if you guys have seen the trailer, you know that the Queen of Hearts is coming back, and there's also Time. Now, I thought Time was going to be the villain the entire movie, but it turns out he's not really the villain, but rather the Red Queen is. And that surprised me, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, so this is our villain. But, like, as the story progresses, he turns out not to really be a bad guy. He turns out to be, like, almost like a sidekick of sorts, and only wants what is best for the area. He's kind of like the warning light. So as Alice is going back in time to try to change things to make better impacts on the future, she keeps doing things and it messes up with time. And time needs to get things sorted out before it's too late and time could diminish forever. Like, not just time itself, but just everything. Because if you mess with history too much, then it'll mess up all history and make it non-existent, which makes sense and is a reason why time travel might not be the best idea. Although, if time travel were to work, we could do a lot of things. The animation in this movie was really great. In the first movie it was really good, and I feel like in this one it was not better, not worse. It was like just as good as it was. I don't know if it was necessarily better, but animation has progressed since then, so I will say that maybe it's a bit better. But when we watched it in 3D, and my sister, who was with us, said that the 3D camera angles, like when it was spinning around, made her dizzy. So I don't know. Like, if you get dizzy really easily, or you're sensitive to 3D, I wouldn't recommend watching it in 3D. But it was good in 3D, and I liked it. The characters, Alice was a really good character, really great role model, really amazing woman. Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter was fantastic, as always. But the rest of like some of the characters, such as like Anne Hathaway or like the animated characters, they seemed a little bit not irrelevant, but just not like as big. I will be honest though, the White Queen isn't my favorite character. So as of comedy, the comedy was like, it had really good timing. It had it was actually really good jokes. And it wasn't just, like the really terrible, like, animated films, like, let's just, make something like this, make a really weird pun. But the puns that they use in this film, they say puns are the lowest form of comedy, but I say they weren't bad in this one. And the cool thing about this film is that there's this one scene that sort of ties things together. It was a scene with Time, who was sitting at the tea table with the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, the Dormouse, and the Cheshire Cat. And as he leaves, it is always 1 minute to tea time because time's messing up. And so it makes complete sense as to how that affects the future. After he leaves, it's just constantly tea time. And it makes sense because it leads them to practical insanity as the point where they can't do anything but drink tea at this point. And even when time manages to fix itself again, it's just, they think in their minds that they can't change this, that they can't leave the table, they can't do anything but have a tea party for the rest of their lives. And I think it's so well done because it's just like, oh no. So that leads to this and this leads to that. The cool thing about this is how it kind of butterfly affects this entire thing. I know I've used butterfly effect as a term before, but like how one tiny thing can affect something in the future. Like, we learn more about how the evil queen became evil. She wasn't actually that bad. She just, had a terrible problem that was inflicted on her, and it led to her getting angry and all this stuff, and it led to problems with the Mad Hatter and all this stuff. Like, there was this one scene that was the coronation scene, and the Red Queen was actually really nice in this. She was, she was friendly. But when the scene was going on, as the scene was progressing, I was getting this sinking feeling because I knew that eventually she was going to become the evil queen. And as that was happening, I was just, it wasn't like pity, it was more sympathy. I was just like, oh no, oh no. It felt so terrible. And then things did turn out in the end. You might take this as a shock, but the Red Queen actually becomes good. Which, I don't know. The way that it was executed wasn't really the best, but it was okay for the most part. Like, I don't know. I would have preferred it to be a bit different, but I think the problem was it was just the White Queen's character. She just didn't have like this personality that I thought was interesting. I don't know. She seemed a little bland when she was executing the scene, so whatever. Other than the fact that this movie is actually really good. If anything, people say that sequels aren't as good as the originals, and I understand that this wasn't as good as the original film. But it's kind of like in the sense of The Lion King 2. The Lion King 2 is a great movie, it's just not as good as the original Lion King. So this movie, it's great, but it's just not as good. And that's reasonable. It's just the way things are. And that's all I had to say for it. Anyways, that is all I've got for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can check out my DeviantArt page. Link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and I will see you next time. Till then, peace out.